Hey, welcome to another edition of the CBS World News. I think this is number 10. Today's video is going to be about the Sun and its supposed distance from the Earth. We've all been told since we've been too young to know better that the Sun is 96 million miles or 150,000 kilometers away from the Earth. I think most of us, before we were well through the process of indoctrination, must have noticed those pesky crepuscular rays that come out of the clouds, which basically point to a common origin, making it look like the Sun is a whole lot closer than we were told. Now, that's been explained away as an optical illusion. Maybe the refraction of light as it hits the clouds causes them to beam out, or some people say they're actually parallel, it's just a trick of perspective. I guess most people would buy that, but I've found something that pretty much puts the nail in the coffin for that theory and seems to prove that the Sun is a whole lot closer. I've been looking at some time-lapse footage of flights, and I've found this one from Mauritius to Frankfurt. See if you can spot anything wrong with this footage. Okay, I'll slow this bit down here and repeat it a couple of times. Are you noticing that? Basically, you can draw a line straight from the Sun through the clouds to their shadow on the ground. And I'm talking any cloud. So that's not a trick of perspective, because the convergence point is not the horizon, it's the Sun. So basically we're triangulating the Sun with its shadows going through the clouds. So, you know, if we knew the distances, we could work out exactly how large and how high the Sun is. It's been done. So this proves that crepuscular rays aren't just a trick of light, a local aberration, because we have physical evidence on the ground, the shadows of the clouds, which prove that the Sun is a whole lot closer than we've been told. Now look at this footage I found, it's almost too good to be true. Okay, swinging around we can see the Sun, and he's just going down through the clouds for a landing. Can't see anything, blurred out. Crepuscular rays pointing right at the Sun. Check that out. If there was any doubts, crepuscular rays are just light bending and bullshit like that. Nah.
Heliocentrists' astronomical figures always sound perfectly precise, but they have historically been notorious for regularly and drastically changing them to suit their various models. For instance, in his time, Copernicus calculated the Sun's distance from Earth to be 3,391,200 miles. The next century, Johannes Kepler decided it was actually 12,376,800 miles away. Isaac Newton once said, "It matters not whether we reckon it 28 or 54 million miles distant, for either would do just as well." How scientific! Benjamin Martin calculated between 81 and 82 million miles. Thomas Dilworth claimed 93,726,900 miles. John Hine stated positively 95,298,260 miles. Benjamin Gould said more than 96 million miles, and Christian Mayer thought it was more than 104 million. Thomas Winship says, "As the sun, according to science, may be anything from 3 to 104 million miles away, there is plenty of space to choose from. It is like the showman and the child. You pay your money for various astronomical works, and you take your choice as to what distance you wish the sun to be. If you are a modest person, go in for a few millions, but if you wish to be very scientific and to be mathematically certain of your figures, then I advise you to make your choice somewhere about 100 millions. You will at least have plenty of space to retreat into should the next calculation be against the figures of your choice. You can always add a few millions to keep up with the times, or take off as many as may be required to adjust the distance to the very latest accurate column of figures. Talk about ridicule! The whole of modern astronomy is like a farcical comedy, full of surprises. One never knows what monstrous or ludicrous absurdity may come forth next. You must not apply the ordinary rules of common sense to astronomical guesswork. No, the thing would fall to pieces if you did. Regiments of figures are paraded with all the learned jargon for which science is famous, but one might as well look at the changing clouds in the sky and seek for certainty there, as to expect to get it from the propounders of modern astronomy. But there is no means of testing these ever-changing, never-stable speculations, and bringing them to the scrutiny of hard logic and fact. Indeed there is. The distance of the sun can be measured with much precision, the same way as a tree or a house or a church steeple is measured, by plain triangulation. It is the principle on which a house is built, a table made, or a man-of-war constructed. The sun is always somewhere between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn, a distance admitted to be less than 3,000 miles. How, then, can the sun, if it be so many thousands miles in diameter, squeeze itself into a space of about 3,000 miles only? "But look at the distance," say the professors. We have already done that, and not one of the wise men we have so often challenged has ever attempted to refute the principle on which we measure the sun's distance. If the navigator neglects to apply the sun's semi-diameter to his observation at sea, he is 16 nautical miles out in calculating the position his ship is in. A minute of arc on the sextant represents a nautical mile, and if the semi-diameter be 16 miles, the diameter is of course 32 miles, and as measured by the sextant, the sun's diameter is 32 minutes of arc, that is 32 nautical miles in diameter. Let him disprove this who can. If ever disproof is attempted, it will be a literary curiosity well worth framing.